All right, so we're about to get ready to, or I'm ready to go. I'm just about to head off to day 2 of qualifying at the US Open. So I'll just give you a little bit of a day 1 recap. It was a very long day. I mean, there was 3 squads. It started at 8 a.m. and didn't get over until about 11:30 last night. So it was a lot of bowling. It was a long day. It was a frustrating day. It was a hard day because that short pattern was just, for most of the bowlers, was just an absolute nightmare. And it got tougher as the day went through. It got tougher for each squad because of a lot of the bowlers from A squad that were saying that they could still feel kind of the lane memory of the house shot from the night before the Pro-Am. And then as you get through A squad, and then you go to B squad, and then C squad. So as that same pattern is ran all 3 times for the day, you get a truer read on that pattern each time, and it's a very difficult, very brutal pattern. But while that doesn't necessarily mean that the lanes were a little bit easier for A squad, but I thought that for B squad they didn't break down quite as bad. So the bowlers in B squad didn't quite have it as easy to begin with, but then again, it didn't seem like it broke down quite as bad. C squad just had a rough time. That was just not a great squad to be in, but at the same time, the bowlers bowling this morning, this squad, is still going to have a little bit of lane memory from the pattern, from the tough pattern from yesterday. They're still going to have a little bit of that this morning, and it's going to blend out and be more of a truer read by the time we get to tonight. And so it's not like it's ABC squad every day and then ABC, ABC. They shuffle the squads up so that your morning squad, I think A squad was morning squad yesterday, they're the late squad tonight, and they're the middle squad tomorrow. So in the end, nobody really seems to care that much. It kind of all balances out since they're not the same squad every day. But as far as takeaways from yesterday is, that was just a really rough pattern. I think that some of you have seen kind of what went on with Pete Weber. There was a couple guys that withdrew, mostly due to injury, but yesterday was not the pattern to try to grind through when you're injured. If there was a little bit more oil out there, or they didn't have to be so aggressive physically, I think that those guys could have made it through. But because of how difficult the pattern was, how dry the pattern was, I think that there was a lot of players that were going to be really tired after yesterday. And Pete was already limping around before the squad even started or anything even happened. So let's hold this better. But he got started off, and it was pretty rough, and he was limping around, and he was already loft in the left gutter cap just to start the thing. Wasn't getting the best reaction, and so he was hurt. He was frustrated. And then if you haven't seen what he said, he sat down with Lucas Wiseman and had a few comments after he withdrew. So not very happy, and I would say somewhat understandably so. After watching that entire first day, that first pattern was a little rough. But again, I got to sit on, I'll get to this in a minute, but Tom Smallwood said it's like, if it sucks, it sucks for everybody, or it doesn't suck for everybody. And so he said, I don't really get too excited about it one way or the other. Yeah, it can be frustrating and it can suck, but you can talk about how much it sucks with everybody else that it sucked for after the squad. So anyway, as far as that goes, I did get to hang out. On a personal note here, I got to hang out with a bunch of people. Like, the last couple days were pretty awesome. I'd like to thank the Nisleys for kind of taking me under their wing. There's some new friends of mine from Kansas, from the same Kansas City area. I've gotten into I've really only gotten into tournaments here, just kind of local sweepers and stuff, but in the area, and so I've been gradually getting to know more of the area people, and so I've seen them several times at tournaments. But I just kind of hung out with them because we were watching people, and come to find out they've gone to a lot of these events over the last several years and actually know a lot of the players really well. And so they said, yeah, just come hang out with us. We're gonna go, we're gonna go eat and hang out with some of these players. And so I got to meet and hang out with a lot of people. I watched EJ Tackett and AJ Johnson playing Golden Tee last night. Talked to Chris Loschetter for a while and Tom Smallwood, and Ronnie Russell and Kyle Troop and Marshall Kent. It's just been a really cool time. I'd always thought that, you know, you never really see most of these people off the lanes. You can see them on TV and you can see them being serious and intense, but it's their job. They kind of have to take it that way. And they're just a bunch of really nice, likable guys that just hang out and bowl. I mean, that's kind of what their thing is. That's kind of what they do. And Jacob Buttriff is another one that we got to hang out with last night, and he's really cool. And you can think that some of these guys look a certain way or act a certain way on TV, but that's just, you know, that's just when they're clocked in. When they're clocked off, just hanging out, they're just bowlers. They're just people like the rest of us. And so it's really cool. It's been a cool couple days, and we still have 2 more days worth of 2 more long days worth of qualifying before they get into the stuff, before they get into the cuts on Monday and then Tuesday. So just first day takeaways is that first shot was brutal. The scores should go up a little bit. Now I think Prather ended up leading at plus 180 something or plus 190. I didn't see his number. I know that the first squad, AJ Chapman, was on top with plus 170, and so some people have said, well, the scores look a little high. Well, the top end of the scores are kind of high, but it doesn't matter how tough the shot is. I mean, the shots at Nationals were pretty tough this year, but, you know, a couple of people still shot a couple big scores, so you can't judge the difficulty of the event by just the top couple scores. You got to look at the cut, and I think the cut ended up being something like, the cut to the top 36 out of 144 of the best players in the world was like plus 30. So you're thinking plus 30 through 8 games, and people are barely averaging the average, you know, most of the field, and most of the field's averaging worse than that, because we're just talking about the top 36. But if you're talking about the field average, it's under 200. It's a minus number. There's a lot of people that had a really tough time. So don't just take the top couple scores and think that's any kind of gospel or any kind of a read on anything. But anyway, I think we're going to cut this off. I'm going to go head out and see what's going on with A Squad this morning on the, at least, if maybe not easier, at least the one with more oil. So there's a lot of people really winging it yesterday. I think Prather was impressive. Marshall Kent was impressive. Matt O'Grady was really impressive. Man, I posted a few videos on Facebook, but if you get a chance, go back on Flow Bowling and watch some of the stuff from yesterday. You could really learn a lot. It was really, really interesting. And I don't know, yesterday was crazy. So that's the best way I can put it. And if you want to see some of the crazy, go back on Flow Bowling and watch it. So anyway, I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to head to the bowling alley, and then we'll see what happens. So see you guys later.